till the lights go down, 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 till the lights go down, down, down. I've been feeling alright, I've been taking.
Yo, what is going on, guys? Crypto Vibes here, also known as Crypto, bringing you guys another video. And today, guys, I've got my week 2 battle in the CPC D League going up against Ace of Games in his Philadelphia Bronzong. So yeah, Ace is somebody I've played a couple times before in another league. I think we're 1-1 against each other, and yeah, that's pretty cool. He did beat me in a finals game though, so yeah, don't appreciate that, Ace. I'm gonna beat you here now, pissed. But yeah, that's the goal at least. We're gonna try to win this game for sure. As Ace has definitely got one of the more unorthodox teams in this league, I think, but it is really scary, to be honest with you. But I will go ahead and go over it now. He's got the Tapu Bulu, Latias, Toxapex, Lycanroc Dusk, Empoleon, Charizard Y, or Mega Charizard Y, Alolan, Ninetales, Mienshao, Mudsdale, and Kartana, with his two Z users being the Tapu Bulu and Lycanroc Dusk. So the first thing after I looked at his team was there is no Z Kartana, which made me a lot happier. That thing could definitely be a huge threat with Z moves. So I'm glad that it's not Z moves. Nonetheless, his 2 Z users are still very scary, and Tapu Bulu and Lycanroc Dusk, so I can definitely see why he went with those for sure as his Z users. So yeah, one of the things I was definitely looking at when building this team is Ace's offense is just really tough to deal with this game for me, at least. Things like Alolan Ninetales can really break through certain parts of my team. Things like the Mega Charizard Y are big threats if I let things like my Lax go down and whatnot. Things like Lycanroc Dusk are just really difficult to switch into, as well as the Tapu Bulu. So this is not looking like a matchup where I can win defensively at all whatsoever. He does have bad things, which definitely are a problem for some of my offense, but I am more so looking at his offense as more of a threat, more of a threat to my team overall. So I'm going to build a pretty offensive team this week to try to counteract his offense, which I think is probably my best way of looking at it this game, as coming in with a defensive approach would probably lose me this game 9 out of 10 times, so I'm not going to do that. But yeah, biggest threat from my team I built, at least, is definitely the Tapu Bulu. Biggest threat overall, I would say, is the Tapu Bulu. Probably the Tapu Bulu, and then on the defensive side, Mudsdale is a pretty big problem, so that's something I need to watch out for sure. But yeah, this is the team I decided to go with, as you can see up here. I was looking at a couple things like his potential stealth workers on the team. He has quite a few stealth workers, or he has a decent amount of stealth workers, pretty average. He has the Lycanroc Dusk and Empoleon and Mudsdale, which is definitely fair. If Mudsdale was definitely a rocker I expected this game to come. As you can see, it is only immunity to electric types, which I have an Electrode right here. And Electrode actually puts in a nasty amount of work this game if he does not bring the Mudsdale. So his best switch-ins at that point would be things like Latias and Tapu Bulu as pivots, which would open up the door to get me in my offense, and even things such as Clefable and whatnot, which is really good, really good. So Electrode was definitely something I was considering quite a bit going into it, but I figured if Mudsdale did come, it would be pretty annoying for my Electrode overall, so I decided not to bring it, as unfortunately this probably will be one of Electrode's better games to come to, so I do not bring it. We'll see if that bites me in the butt, but yeah, not bringing it here. We are also not bringing our only rock resist for like Lycanroc Dusk is my Bisharp, but I do have things like Bronzong and Swampert in the back, so maybe that'll persuade him not to bring his Lycanroc in any way, which would be pretty nice for me, for sure. That is something I want to watch out for, as well as Will-O-Wisp Zard Y is something I definitely want to watch out for, because I have something like my Snorlax, which is pretty nice switching overall to a special Mega Charizard Y. So yeah, that's something I'm definitely going to be prepped for sure. Potential Scarfers on his team. He has things like Alolan Ninetales, which is not a bad option, to be completely honest. It counteracts his Scarf Gliscor, beats a Mega Latios, creeps it in speed-wise, helps it creep a Scarfed Infernape or whatever. And it's just something he could bring, although I do have very good checks to Ninetales defensively. Things like Clefable and Snorlax do a good job there, which is pretty solid for me. And yeah, I'm very excited about that. As what is it? Something like a Mienshao, don't really expect to come to this game, to be completely honest with you. I have things that can just kind of slow it down and make it not do as well this game. Mainly the Gliscor, things like Dusknoir make it not want to click HJK against me. So that's pretty nice, as well as Clefable. Yeah, Clefable is just a very nice check to it, so don't really expect to see that come. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically kind of covering his team a little bit. Don't really know what 6 I expect to come at this moment. I know Tapu Bulu, I know Zard Y. Toxapex will definitely come this game. It's a very good check to Infernape. As well as Mudsdale could come too, stops my Volt switching Electrode if he sees that that's a big problem. So those are definitely some brings I could see coming, as well as maybe even a Alolan Ninetales come. So yeah, that's some of the mons I kind of expected this game. I'll go ahead and just hop into my build. So as you can see right away, we are bringing the Bolt Beam Calm Mind Megaladios. This game, it has a very, very nice matchup overall. His best switch into this with my set is actually things like the Alolan Ninetales, which if I get a couple of Calm Minds up, then he will definitely not be able to revenge me, and I can put in some work with the Thunderbolt, which is very, very solid. This also breaks through an Empoleon, a spin off Empoleon, which might want to be a switch in, a potential like Roar variant or whatnot, so that's definitely something I want to do there. Also, if I can Calm Mind up on a potential Toxapex, that'd be great. He could potentially Toxic me or just straight up Haze, but I figure Calm Mind is pretty nice here overall, as it can help me beat a Calm Mind Latias as well, 1v1, which is very, very solid. Unless he has some kind of weird variant on it on deck, which I'm not thinking of at the moment, but yeah, that's something very good there. Also helps me beat the Zard Y, and after I get a Calm Mind up, he has really nothing that can do much to me from Zard Y at all, unless he's like physical outrage or something. So that's very, very good. And then Kartana is something that does not outspeed me, and I believe a regular Ice Beam just knocks it out, so that's very, very good. And now that's basically my Megaladios. No really crazy speed creeps. We're just running enough speed to speed tie the Latias if that decides what he wants to go with, as well as enough speed for like things like Alolan Ninetales and Kartana from outspeeding me, which is very, very good. But yeah, next model we have right here is my Scarfed Inferno with Flare Blitz, U-Turn, Close Combat, and Rock Slide. Running enough speed for his Mian Shell, like a Scarf Mian Shell or something like that, which I figured was just an appropriate creep just to do it. But yeah, Scarf Inferno is pretty good here. It catches a Scarf Bulu, which is very good. Rock Slide is there for the Zard Y, so it gives me a way to hit that. Toxapex, if he brings Fizzed up Toxapex, I pretty much have to hope like keep turn on the right time to predict that thing every time, which is definitely a problem. Things like Flare Blitz just are really, really good coverage though, to help hit things like Alolan Ninetales, Kartana, and stuff like that very nicely. It still hits Mudsdale for pretty decent damage too, so that's nice. Close Combat is there to hit Empoleon for stronger damage. I believe that and Lycanroc, which are two things I definitely would want to hit for strong damage. And then U-Turn for the momentum, like I was saying. Very explanatory, very self-explanatory set. Like I said, this team is going to be very offensive with a pivot or two. So yeah, that is the Infernape right here. And bringing our second back-to-back Scarf right here, we have my Scarf Bisharp this game with the knockoff Iron Head Pursuit and Rock Tomb. Running enough speed on this set, I believe, to outspeed a... What is this to outspeed? Yeah, this speed investment allows me to outspeed Latias, I believe. I think it allows me to outspeed Latias, which is really nice. His base 110, which is Latias, which is his fastest mon on the team. So yeah, basically that outspeeds everything on his team outside of priority and opposing Scarfers, which is very good. I can Pursuit Trap Latias potentially, or if I'm in a position to just go knockoff, I feel like that could be a better play. I will do so. And if he ever scouts out that my Infernape Scarf early game, maybe I can catch his Zard Y off guard with my Bisharp and knock him out with a Rock Tomb, which would be very, very good. As I believe it even knocks out, or it comes close to knocking out a max HP variant of Zard Y, which is really clutch for sure. And then Iron Head is there to hit things such as the Mian Shell for neutral coverage, and Tapu Bulu for a lot stronger damage, and things like this, Lycanroc and whatnot. So, and not Alolan Ninetales, obviously. Doesn't let him set up a Aurora Veil, which is very, very good for me. And yeah, bringing back double Scarfers right here, which is really cool. Next one we have here is my Defensive Clefable. Defensive Clefable really isn't amazing here, but I didn't really have too much investment otherwise where I really wanted to sit it in. I have enough special defense to take 2 Life Orb Psychics from a Latias, which is nice at least, so I can take that. It also lets me switch into non-Life Orb Alolan Ninetales, hit attacks pretty easily, so that's very good there, as well as a nice check to Mian Shell if it does decide to come, so that's something I want to keep in mind. Stealth Rock is just my best Stealth Rock of this game in my opinion. He has things like Empoleon, which can defog, but I do have a Defiant Bisharp in the back, so it kind of makes him want to be careful about that for sure. Soft Blow for general recovery, and Flamethrower is to catch things like the Kartana and the Bulu for more damage, as well as Alolan Ninetales I suppose too, which is pretty cool. So that's kind of just the Clefable there. It is one of my better defensive mons here. Not exactly a great mon because it doesn't check Bulu at all. Like this team, I literally have to pivot into Bulu, otherwise it just gets a kill every time. So yeah, that's pretty rough. And that is just the Clefable there. Next mon we have right here is my Gliscor. Now this Gliscor is a Toxic Orb variant with Earthquake, Swords Dance, Roost, and Facade. Very, very weird this game because I do have a Gliscor set that can check Lycanroc Dusk if he does decide to bring it, which my team here does not have exactly the best checks to that thing, which is, I'm kind of banking off the fact that he won't bring it considering I have things like the Bronzong and Swampert. So he might be inclined to bring like a Z Crunch set to break through my Bronzong if he wants to do that, but I do have a Swampert and a Gliscor still, so maybe it's a mon that doesn't decide to come to this game, which would be very fine with me. So I'm deciding to go with this offensive Gliscor set as it helps me. It gives me another way to beat Toxapex. What I kind of want to do is not reveal Swords Dance as early as possible, and if he's defensive Toxapex and he just thinks I'm just a defensive standard set of Gliscor, he would be able to beat me 1v1. But hopefully I can catch the thing up with a Swords Dance and get up an Earthquake and really just put in huge damage against the Pex, because that is one thing that is just an easy switch into my Infernape. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind. Also, it doesn't really risk me going into Mega Latios and risking Toxics and whatnot, so that's good. And then I believe with this investment, with that HP investment, I can take 3 Scalds with Toxic Orb, which is really cool. Obviously, I have to get my Toxic Orb pronged first, but that is something I think I can definitely do. And we are running enough speed for a max speed Tapu Bulu that is not scarfed and whatnot. So a +2 Facade with the Toxic Orb will do about 80% to that if he's not too much invested. Well, so that's pretty solid overall, which is pretty cool. And like I said, the HP investment is just basically there to, I believe, take 3 Scalds from a Toxapex guaranteed, so I can switch in on a Scald, even Swords Dance on the next one, then Roost or whatever, so it puts me in a solid position. And yeah, I think it's pretty decent overall and whatnot. It can take a hit from Latias and fire back with a +2 Facade potentially. Obviously, alone Ninetales is a big problem, and things like Zard Y can blow past it. But I do have one mon in the back that can definitely check those very well. Also, Gliscor, it can set up Swords Dances against things like Mudsdale and then attack when I need to, because its ability Stamina, I wouldn't want to attack right away, so I can set up Swords Dances first and then start breaking through it, which would be very cool. But last but not least, we have my Snorlax right here, which is a really weird set this week. We're just rocking Leftovers, 3 attacks Toxic. I really did not like... this thing had such 4-move slot syndrome this game. It was really bad. But ultimately we decided to go with the Leftovers, thick fat set, and a very Spadef one at that. With Body Slam, Brick Break, Toxic, and Fire Punch. Body Slam is there for general stab. It gives me a way to beat Zard Y 1v1. Even if he wants to try to roost stall me and whatnot, he definitely can, but I have Body Slam potentials to para him, or I could even go for Toxic, which is definitely a fine play as well. Brick Break is there to break a Roarvel on the low Ninetales, which I think is pretty clutch this game, as Snorlax is just a very good switch into that thing, which is very good overall. And then I have the Fire Punch there to do massive damage to something like a Kartana, which cannot set up on me for free, which is very good here. I think the defense investment allows me to take a... I couldn't tell you actually. I can't even remember. Maybe a Life Orb Sacred Sword or something like that. But that might be something. Or even a Tapu Bulu hit. I'm not exactly sure. But this is the moveset we decided to go with. I wanted Gunk Shot here for a while to hit the Bulu stronger, but Fire Punch is definitely more important on the Kartana. For sure, because I don't want that thing to set up. If he has a speed boosting variant after he gets a kill, and he's like a Swords Dance up, that could be a huge problem for my team, because as you can see, I'm not rocking any sort of priority, which definitely could be a little bit of a missed prep on my part, but we will go ahead and see once we get into the battle. Going into this one, I definitely was not the most comfortable with my build, that's for sure, but there are a couple of ones that I think can get the job done here. And I will definitely try to do that. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed, what am I even saying? I'm going to go ahead and get into the battle. I'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back with the battle, and as you guys can see, Ace decided to bring me Tapu Bulu, Toxapex, Mega Charizard Y, Alolan Ninetales, Kartana, and Empoleon. So looking at this, it's looking like we have Defog Empoleon, which is definitely nice for my Defiant Bisharp in the back, which is very cool. We see a Tapu Bulu here. Looking at his team, I kind of expect that or the Alolan Ninetales to be scarfed this game, with probably an SD Kartana, a specially defensive Zard Y with the most likely Will-O-Wisp. On my Snorlax, I did say I had a way to check the Will-O-Wisp Zard, which I did go back and forth on Facade or Body Slam. I decided to go with Body Slam overall. I figured it was a little bit nicer to potentially snag paras on things like an incoming Kartana or a Bulu or something like that. So that is something I decided to go with, but Will-O-Wisp Zard is something I definitely expect still on to potentially catch Lax, but nonetheless I can throw off Toxics and whatnot if my attack gets cut in half, but yeah. Toxapex is definitely a switch into Snorlax every time of the week, so if I can get the thing out of the way, Snorlax can definitely put in some massive work against the rest of his team, which is pretty nice, for sure. Something like Toxapex, I expect that to be just physically defensive to check a standard defensive Gliscor, as well as a Scarfed Infernape or any sort of offensive Infernape. So it's definitely something that could make sense, as well as it's pretty nice for the Clefable to not let me like set up Calm Lines and whatnot. So that's pretty good. Probably it's definitely gonna have Haze, that's for sure, to not let Mega Latios get out of hand, as well as things like my Snorlax, like a Curse set or something. So that is something I completely expect. But yeah, we're just gonna hop in right into the game. I think I'll leave right with my Bisharp, maybe trying to catch his Alolan Ninetales right off the bat, or Zard Y that wants to leave. But he is going to make the play leading his Toxapex, so this is going to put me in an interesting position. as I am just going to pivot right out in my Megalodios, and if he can actually burn me with this Scald right here, which I didn't completely expect because I was in a Bishop right there, there was really no reason for him not to Scald. It put him in a position where he could potentially burn my Gliscor coming in. If I decide to do that, I wouldn't get my Toxic Orb, and if he burnt my Bisharp, that would put him in a very strong position. So I'm just going to make the play hard into my Latios, kind of hoping I get burnt right here, but he does not burn me. So I am just going to actually Mega Evolve and Calm Mind right away. Now it seems a little premature, but if you look at his team, he doesn't have a good switch in to +1 at all. Although Ninetales is a potential switch in, but I don't expect that to be his initial switch in at all, looking at it. And like I said, I want to take this game very offensive, the approach offensively, because I'm not liking the long run in this game. I do have 2 Scarfers, which can help me if I decide to play very aggressive. So if I can start getting rid of things now, that would be very, very good. And this Pex is definitely something I want to get rid of. So right here on my Calm Mind, he does throw up a Toxic, which is definitely a fine play. It is going to wear me down over time. I guess right here he thought I would go for the Psychic and pivots out into his Empoleon, but I am going to go right for the Thunderbolt, and that does massive damage, and put him in a position where I can just click Thunderbolt one more time and knock him out. Ice Beam actually did not knock out right there, so I had to go for Thunderbolt, unfortunately. So if he pivoted out into Bulu or something right there, that could have been pretty bad, because as you can see, he does go into Bulu on the following turn, meaning he is most likely Scarfed. Even if he's not, it is something I definitely need to respect at this point, as my Megalodios is definitely good to keep around for the things like the Toxapex and Zard Y and whatnot, and even like non-Scarf Kartana and non-Scarf Ninetales, assuming that they're not Scarfed now, thinking this thing's probably Scarfed. So right here, he can actually not knock me out with an Adamant Scarfed Woodhammer. His only way of knocking me out is Megahorn. So, yeah, that's the only way he can knock me out at this point. So I'm actually going to make a very aggressive play, pivoting into my Infernape. Like I said, I have to pivot into this thing to even switch in, so we are going to do that. And I'm just going to click U-turn right here. His Pex is very obvious in my opinion. So we are going to U-turn and get some nice momentum right here. Could have went back into Megalodios, I guess, but if he just clicked the right pivot move for him, Megalodios on my side is kind of like the same thing as Bulu on his side. He kind of has to pivot around it to make a good play. So yeah, that is something to keep in mind. But I'm going to go into the pivot right here and actually just get out my rocks. It's going to be very important for the Zard Y later on. Things like a low Ninetales to not let it just come in and set up a over and over and over and over. So yeah, we are going to do that as he makes the switch in right here to Tapu Bulu. Which, like I said, I don't switch in too well, so I'm going to stay in right here. Clefable got up rocks. He doesn't bring anything like the Mienshao or Latias, so there's really no reason to keep health on this thing. So as you can see, Woodhammer's just going to go crap ton, and we are just going to weaken this thing down with the Flamethrower, which is very, very good. And yeah, this is most likely Scarf Bulu, like I said, still. And he is just going to knock me out with the Woodhammer right there. But the good thing about this is he puts himself in range of a Scarf U-turn for my Infernape, and we guarantee I'll see that he is Scarfed in this, or we're pretty positive he's Scarfed, obviously, he dies. But we kill with the U-turn right there, which is very good with my Infernape. Yeah, just very good overall, as his potential one Scarfer is gone. But he could definitely have another one in the back, potentially being Kartana. If Kartana is Scarfed, I actually would be okay with that rather than SD at this point, because SD is more of a threat in my opinion. But yeah. We are going to make the switch. He's going to make the switch in after we end up killing him with my Infernape right here. I'm going to make the switch in into my Bisharp, kind of put him in a position where he wouldn't expect Scarf Bisharp. He is going to go into Zard Y, and this is an awesome position to just click Rock Tomb. I think he either clicked Roost or Will-O-Wisp that turn, he said. If he clicked Willow, that would have caught my Snorlax that come in, so that would have been a fine play. But we do catch him off guard with a Scarf Rock Slide, or Rock Tomb right there, which is very good. Now, this does open up the door for a Kartana to come in. I do understand that completely. But if Kartana does come in, it can click Swords Dance, which my initial play into Kartana would definitely be pivot into Infernape right away, if he does go into Kartana right here. Now, Infernape can take one Sacred Sword. If he is Scarfed, he would be able to outspeed me and click the Sacred Sword. And if after I see if he just goes hard for Sacred Sword, I would most likely pivot out into my Gliscor, assuming he's Scarfed at that point. Be able to easily take Sacred Swords, which would be very good. And if he goes into Kartana on my Bisharp right now and sets up a Swords Dance on my Hard Infernape play, then I will outspeed and be able to bop him with the Flare Blitz. So that is the play I would make if he goes Kartana, but as you can see, he does make the play into Toxapex, which gives me an opportunity to just go right into my Megalodios right here, as he makes a nice play right here and doubles into his Alolan Ninetales, I guess predicting that, so good play on his part, as I am just going to go right into my Snorlax though, and if he wants to set up Veil, I am going to Brick Break that away immediately, as I do not want that up for the Kartana to potentially win this game. But yeah, he goes right into that, and we are going to play Brick Break, and that is going to go through and be very nice for us and weaken this thing down. I'm just going to play Fire Punch right here. You could definitely just go back into Pex if you wanted to, but it is my best play for sure, because Kartana is his main win con at this point for sure. So yeah, I am going to, once again, I believe, go Megalodios right here on his Toxic, I think. He's trying to Toxic my Snorlax right there, which is definitely fine. but we go into Megaladios, and I think I roost right here. Really, there wasn't really a reason. I guess our roosting was fine, to be honest. Get this thing healthier to take a potential hit from the Kartana was fine. So he's going to haze right there on my potential Calm Mind, which is definitely fine. And I think on this turn, I pivot out into my Gliscor. Yeah, I go Gliscor here on what I expected to be another haze, as he just goes for a recover. And this puts me in a position where he's not really in a position where he can risk his Kartana because it is his main win con here. And I doubt he wants to go hard into his low Ninetales, considering it would take rocks and a potential Earthquake. So right here, I am actually just going to throw off a regular Facade in case he wants to haze, predicting my Swords Dance, which he does. And on this turn now, I'm going to click Swords Dance to guarantee knock out this Pex with the following Earthquake, and there is no way he's going to want to switch out on a +2 Gliscor. At this point, he is going to go into a low Ninetales right here on my Gliscor. He can either set up a Roar Veil or Blizzard, which I am either way going to go into my Snorlax because my play is to definitely continue to go into Lax and click Brick Break over and over and over. But I am definitely going to make a sequence of misplays, and this is probably some of the worst plays I've made in Draft League for sure in a while. As I decide to, he misses a Toxic right there, which is definitely unfortunate, but it would not have mattered in the grand scheme of things if I continued to make the right play. But I'm going to make a bad play right here and click Fire Punch. Now, what that does is, if he clicked a Roar Veil right there and I actually knocked him out, I wouldn't have knocked him out right there, but it was just not my proper play at all, because if he gets a Roar Veil up with Kartana coming in, he could potentially put himself in a very good position that can reverse sweep me, so I gotta be careful about that. And right here, I still wasn't aware of him potentially getting a Roar Veil. I clicked Fire Punch. Now, I wasn't really thinking straight in this game. You guys can think, you guys call me a liar or whatnot, but I had a couple people in my room just talking a lot while I was playing this game, so it was kind of, I wasn't really, my head wasn't focused in this game completely. I was just playing super offensive really fast, so definitely made a misplay there, clicking Fire Punch instead of Brick Break, though. That was really bad on my part. But he can go into Kartana now, and this is really, really bad for me. Because if he does have the Aqua Berry, he can live my Fire Punch from here. And if he gets up a Swords Dance, this could be very problematic for my team, because, like I said, I have no priority on this team, so this is definitely a big problem, as he does show the Aqua Berry on top of the Aurora Veil and gets up his Swords Dance. So Hail is going to end here, so it doesn't even help me, or it ends on the next turn. So it is not going to help me even chip this thing and kill it, as that would obviously be awesome, but that is not going to be the case, as he gets a Crit Leaf Blade right there, which I don't believe matters because I did not have enough investment to level +2 hit anyways. So not a huge deal right here, but at this point he gets a speed boost and I thought I lost the game. But he goes for Liquid right there, which was interesting, because if I did have enough investment on my Snorlax, I would have been able to live that hit. And I figured Sacred Sword would have been a lot safer for him. But him not showing Sacred Sword is very interesting here, because this could mean he does not have a potential move to hit my Infernape for neutral or super effective damage. And I'm going to go into Infernape right here. He goes for the Leaf Blade, and I live that on 18% and knock him out with a Flare Blitz. So yeah, I got extremely lucky to win this game. I should have won this game 5-0 to begin with my Lax. But I made some really bad misplays around the low Ninetales. I definitely should have just continued to click Brick Break. I don't know what was going through my head at that time. But luckily we got fortunate enough that he did not have the correct coverage to hit my Infernape that was luckily still at enough health to do things at that point in the game. So we are going to win this game 4-0, bounce back after our week 1 game. Not really satisfied with the way I played the end of this game though at all, but we are going to take it nonetheless, as we are 1-1 at a 0 differential. But yeah, that is going to be it, guys. If you enjoyed this battle and video whatnot, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if new. Really would appreciate it, as week 3 we will be going up against my boy Ice Demon Gray and his Barcelona Bagon, so be on the lookout for that for sure. And yeah, peace.